All right. Welcome, ladies, to tonight's Fearless Mentorship Call. We are so excited to have Michaela Edenfield joining us tonight as our mentor. Just a little bit about Michaela. She's from Sneads, Florida. Is that how you say it? I didn't even ask you
Yeah,
before.
Sneads,
Sneads.
Florida.
Where is that? I didn't ask you where that is. Where is Sneads,
That is
Florida?
about an hour west from Tallahassee, Florida, right up in the capital, right in the Panhandle.
Okay. All right. So you didn't go that far to go to FSU then, huh?
No, no.
Um, Yeah. So Michaela grew up there, played her high school ball there. Also is a two-sport athlete. We vibed on this before we got on the call that she also played volleyball. You said middle blocker and right side.
Yeah.
So those are two powerhouse positions. I can imagine you dominated there at the net. And her team was four-time state champs. So you know that they were super good. So that's awesome that she got to play volleyball. Then after high school, she went to Florida State, caught at Florida State. The list of your accolades is kind of ridiculous, honestly. just like every award that you could get out of the ACC, out of the all tournament team and things like that. You just really racked it up while you're there. Then 2 years ago, right, you were drafted for the Athletes Unlimited. You play for the Volts.
Yes.
And I saw also an interesting thing that you got your degree in business, and your dream is like be a marketing manager
Yeah.
for
Didn't
a
end up
sports
with
brand.
business. I went over to communications because I
Okay.
really went after my passion of going into broadcast. So,
Oh, okay.
behind the scenes, what I didn't say is I ended up covering 8 Florida State games over broadcast for ACC Network this year. So that was fun. But yeah.
That's really great. Yeah, I love it more and more that they're getting these like former great players that are getting there calling the games. Like, who
We
knows
need it.
Florida State better than you, right? Like, nobody.
Oh,
It's
I
awesome.
know it. I just can't stand when they say a fastball or this is a rise
Yeah.
ball when it's like clearly not the pitch, right? We're all shaking our head and we're like, where's the mute button? Like I want to
Yeah.
be I want everyone to enjoy and like be able to listen to the ball game.
Yeah, that's awesome. We just had Nicole Mendez come on,
Oh
was that
yeah.
last month, Amanda? Last month? Well, she was our mentorship call last month. So she came on and was able to talk about her broadcasting experiences as well. I think that's just so awesome.
Yeah, she's
Just
been
more and
packed.
more. Yeah. So that's you. We're excited to have you. Um, I'll turn it over to you. Is there anything that you want to start off? Make sure you start off with sharing. Anything you want to add to that bio?
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. A lot of people get the story a bit confused, right? It's small town girl right next to Tallahassee. A lot of people think Florida State was my dream school, but I kind of want to clear that out of the air. Florida State wasn't my dream school. Matter of fact, like I didn't really have much of a dream school. I just had dream goals, and I want to preach this. I say it all the time to the girls I give lessons to. If you have dream goals, like what level, who do you want to be around, the team will naturally fall in place. Sometimes when we get stuck in this like dream school category, like we feel the need that everything has to meet the level of that, and we end up having a little bit of hope, anxiety, a little bit of depression. That is a lot of things going on in the recruiting era, right? But I ended up just wanting to play softball at a very high level. I wanted to play D1, and I didn't know if I was going to go play D1. I was very late commit compared to everyone else in my class that committed in like 8th grade. So we are in a healthier, more fun time of recruiting. These girls may not ever know that struggle, and I am so grateful. But yeah, I definitely went through a lot through my childhood. I never played for a super big brand team until I was already committed to Florida State. So just a little bit more about me on the softball spectrum is that you don't have to be a part of the big blitzy glam teams that are going across the country every summer. Like if you really put your head down to it and hold your core values tight, like you can accomplish and be in any room that you want to be in.
That's so awesome. Yeah, just not feeling like too small for the moment, or understanding that like you have it are prepared for it no matter what it is. That's
Ah.
awesome. Tell me then, what was that recruitment like for you? So Lonnie Alameda,
Ah.
all-time great coach, right? Like was
Oh
that
yeah.
the right fit, or what was it, the school, or what was it
For
about Florida
me,
State that really
I was really, really close going 12 hours away from Sneads, Florida, and not even blinking twice. And truthfully, that was because I had a really good relationship with Kaylee Rafter, which is now an assistant coach for Florida State. But during my time growing up, like I said, I didn't have much money. My family didn't have much money. Like, you do what you will and what with what you have. And for me growing up, going to the winter camps often due to the fact that they had coaches in different areas, a lot of different coaches representing different universities as well coming into the camps. The winter camp was like my Christmas gift growing up. So I'd go into those camps, you know, I put my head down, make sure I shook every single hand of all of the coaches that were there, really trying to build more of like a I see you and you see me type of relationship in a day of where we just have digital devices and we don't really actually directly message other than DMing someone. Just making sure they leave the day with making sure they knew who I was and I got a good handshake in. So just the importance of how you carry yourself in camps. Like, yes, we want to perform and you want to do good, but more so, can you be more observant and more understanding and really try to bond with and learn with the girls around you and the coaches and the environment that camps do end up bringing, which is super, super cool. But my recruitment to Florida State was a little bit of ups and downs, right? Like, I went through the camps, went all through the years, and they kind of got to see me grow up during those moments. And I think I think that was a moment that really clicked for Florida State when they really wanted to buy into me. Um, was when I was chasing after my dream goal of wanting to play for the junior Olympic team. Another thing that I thought was about near impossible, right? Like, little girl, backyard of Tallahassee, like, I think my town population is maybe like I don't know, 1,300. Like, my high school graduating class was under 100, and it was the biggest my town had ever seen. So putting all of that into perspective, like, I was just wanting to put an effort. So I went through this open tryout for the junior Olympic teams. Um, I I put a number across my chest. I went across the day, did my ground balls. I went and I caught, did pop time to hitting. You know, you go around, you're like, well, maybe I don't know. Like, I'm just here. I'm just a small town girl. Like, nothing's gonna happen out of this. But like, at least I can say I gave it I gave it a good shot, right? And what ended up me feeling like that, and I left it all. I did everything I could in the tryout. I got the call saying that I made it to team selection trials. And I remember freaking out in the middle of a Starbucks with my grandpa in tow, and we just couldn't believe that I had gotten through the open tryout into the team selection trials. I was one of two uncommitted girls in that building, and all I saw was logos: UCLA, UF, Alabama. Kat Sandercock was there, so there was Florida State relevant in the air, but she didn't
Yeah.
really know who I was, other than the fact that, like, she may had saw me at a camp one off time. But I think that story and the how I slowly got better day by day, um, in that environment, with the logos, with me not being committed, with having to figure out a little bit of an identity crisis of who I am in softball, and kind of went through the doubts of, like, do I even belong in the room that I'm in? I
Mhm.
think the coaches really saw me work through that. And what was a strikeout my first 2 days, I ended up barreling up on the second day. And then on the third day of the team trials, I started to get like base hits. And like, it was the day by day process and them seeing how bought in I was. And regardless of whether if I was failing forward. And I think
Mhm.
that's all really and truly coaches would want to see out of someone. You can recruit the most athletic, most dominant, fierce athlete, but if we can't put it in perspective that, like, I have to be able to learn, I can't face the game with fear. If I'm always fearing the game, how am I supposed to like actually face my failure, right? And we always put
Mhm.
ourselves at hold because we have a fear of being a beginner, being bad at something, right? But that's the whole point. We play a game of failure. How good can we be at just being consistent, and keeping ourselves in a really good headspace during that? So I think that was the final click. And it was a few months later, a good email and unofficial visit. And sure enough, I really felt like when I took the visit, I asked the same questions as I did when I went to other visits across the country, like really making sure that, yes, I may like a coach, I may like a couple coaches, but at the same time, I need to be in an environment. Coaches are just humans at the end of the day. They pick people with hopes that can help build that environment for their good culture as a program. But at the end of the day, like it really speaks volumes when they're recruiting good human beings that can withstand and have that good culture. And then that's exactly what I had at Florida State. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to grow as a person and as an athlete. And when that clicked in my head, I was like, man, I guess I won't be that far away from home. So what ended up being like my worst nightmare was my parents like, yes, right? But
Yeah, I'm sure they were pumped. Yeah,
oh
that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, I think it's amazing because it's uncommon these days even to see someone go to a school for all their years of eligibility. And, to do that really speaks volumes to how much you vetted that place and how much you really like did your due diligence. And I think you're spot on to tell these girls that there's more to a school than just like their softball or just their
Oh my
coach or just
goodness.
their name, just their
Absolutely.
logo.
And
Like
there's so much more than that, and then just the money. Like, I understand we're in
mhm,
a different format with NIL. I lived the
mhm,
early onset stage of it. But I do truly believe, like, I got offered, I got, like, I say offered, but like, I got talks about whether if I was going to be transferring out of Florida State my last couple years. And I would face those rumors or those people who would ask those, I say like crazy remarks, but I guess to
mhm,
me it's crazy because I know how much I value the opportunity and just truly the chance to fail and fail forward in the environment that Coach had set and with the girls that I got to be around on a daily basis. Like it is just one thing to be going through, yes, having a good standard, yes, personally having good morals, but when you have that type of energy with your left and right, like you just truly feel invincible. I went through some of the deepest, scariest, honestly, the hardest times of my life going into college. I lost my grandpa. That was the biggest support system, my dad figure, right? I lost him
mhm.
before I got into college. I just recently lost my mom, and like my girls from college are the first people that I'm texting and trying to get a hold of to like, I know how much that vice versa. I need them, but they need me. And like those relationships I've built over the years speak volumes. It's way, way
Mhm.
more than just the money or just a good coach or playing in Power Five. Like, can you see yourself as a person thriving there? And that's on both sides, on the field and
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, that's such good advice. And we've heard that from multiple mentors that have come to speak about that you really like need to make sure that it's the right fit for you. Like just because it's a Georgia or a Florida or Florida State, just because that's you got to make sure that that's the place that you personally need to be. And that's really good advice. Also sorry to hear about losing your mom. That's I'm sure been really tough. Um, I I don't know if this is like an about face, but one thing I really wanted to ask you about is because I remember my first experience watching you a couple of years ago in the College World Series. You're a catcher, so you've got a face mask on. But I remember one of the games I was watching you guys play. The announcers love to talk about your eye makeup,
Oh yeah.
and if girls, if you haven't seen a picture, I think the picture we posted had your awesome eye makeup on it. But it is just is so it stands out so much about you, and I can tell that you're showing your personality. Can you talk a little bit about that and like where did that come from? Why do you do it?
Oh
How did you
yeah.
learn how to do it?
Yeah, I a little bit more of the background of me. Like I wasn't always the most confident human being. A lot of people think I am now, which I think like we say fake it till you make it. I wanted to be, so I decided to do it. So if I want to be confident, I choose it in daily basis. So I think it's kind of funny. I used to get bullied pretty heavily until maybe the beginning of 11th grade. So I think throughout the years, going through the ups and downs of wanting to feel like I belong, wanting to feel the need to fit in within my peers when it came to high school, right? Like, can I dress a certain way? Can I make sure like the clothing I'm matching the trends, right? Like a lot of those things I really did to blend to fit in, right? And I slowly was able to understand that like I was never meant to fit in. And it took me a really, really long time. I watched a bunch of YouTube growing up. That was like my little fun joy, right? I got into watching RuPaul Drag Race reruns and clips and edits. And I think truly like being able to watch and observe other people that carry themselves with so much confidence, like it makes you question, like, how did they have it? Like, how does this person walk around shoulders high in every single room, like, and you feel as if they have this force around them, right? Like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna mess with that person, like clearly like they know what they're doing, right? I'm gonna buy my business, right? And for a lot of things, like I was asking a lot of questions, and I think success leaves clues, ladies. If that's the biggest hint I could ever give you, if you see someone being successful, I guarantee you they went through a journey, a story, a marathon that allowed them to be where they are today. So the success leaves clues, regardless of it's the time, the hours, the hard work, the daily showing up, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying that you're beautiful over and over and over again, right? Like it's only uncomfortable because you're not used to it, right? So I think again, the more we backtrack and we work on how we show up daily is goes into a little bit of the me and the makeup and choosing it for myself, and having fun with it, for myself. And I think that's the fun part. Now the razzle dazzle is way more involved. I've got lots of colors. What was just me getting to do some winged eyeliner looks back in high school. Like I was always in the makeup piece, always into it, was always, real close to me. And then my freshman year of college, it was me asking the POs, "What color would you like in my eyes today? Like if I wear the color that you choose, you're gonna throw good today, right?" Like so that was that was red shirt Michaela, doing her due diligence, trying to get all the
Right.
good juju out in the field. And year by year, it slowly became a like, no, like I kind of want to do rainbows, or like I want to do it. And then it became from not only like me and my teammates to me and the fans, and it became like very community based, in which really made me seen, feel, I was seen and I was felt as an ambassador for the sport. And for me, like I've always wanted something that I didn't have growing up. I don't remember watching, a black girl, a black woman behind the plate. I didn't know, and sometimes we just don't know things are possible until we have seen it done. And I
Mhm.
know representation means everything in that piece. And I strive to be a good representation for not only myself, but for the girls that look like me when it comes to this sport or in any sport in general.
That is so amazing. I that representation absolutely matters. And you, I think it totally speaks to your confidence. That's, I mean, when I saw the makeup the first time, I was like, yeah, that girl's got it. She's got it going on.
There's
I
definitely
was so
been some
impressed by it.
looks like even
Yeah.
like I think about, oh my gosh, I did a Da Vinci look last year that I went full
A full
teenage mutant
eyeballs.
ninja turtle across my face. And like there's been a couple where I've been like, wow, like I
Yeah.
forget I do my makeup and I look in the mirror, I'm like, whoa, like what is
Who's that?
like it's so much fun. It is just truly
Uh-huh.
so much fun. It's become to be a thing that I enjoy to, in almost like a mental preparation for myself. It's the
Mhm.
calm before the storm of the game. So it's like that one, last hour I really get to myself before I'm putting on the uniform, before I'm,
Mhm.
using all of the knowledge, the scouting reports. I did notice like over time, the more I really got into my razzle dazzle, the less I was worried about like, oh my gosh, did I watch enough film about so and so? And
Right.
we think about it, like ladies, like I'm sure you guys go to your English classes right now, like your MLA, whatever, state assessment you're going through right now. You're like, oh man, like we go through that night before feelings where like, oh gosh, like did I study enough? Like did I do enough?
Right.
Right? Like at the end of the day, either you did or you did it, and it's up to you to find yourself into
That
the
last hour is
head
not going to do much.
to trust the
Yeah.
preparation. right?
Yeah.
Eventually they give you your, your pre-sharpened pencils if you're like me, how that happened in school for me back in the day, right? But
Hmm.
like they give you the, your pencils and you got to put your head down and like got to do it. You got to go with what you have. So I think that's becoming like a really good part of my routine, a piece where I can feel like really good about myself, really kind of set softball aside before I really go into game mode.
Yeah. It reminds me too, like you see that more and more, I think more and more female athletes are feeling comfortable kind of doing those like little bit outlandish things, you know. I mean, I think of Jordy Ball with her like kind of crazy face paint as a pitcher that's a little bit out of the ordinary. Or I don't know if you know who Lona Mar is, rugby
Yeah.
player. She does the bright red lipstick, right? Like
Oh
as a
yeah.
rugby player to go out there. I mean, I love this idea of pairing femininity with sport. Like just like it's not a masculine thing to be a good athlete. It's absolutely a feminine trait. And so I love pairing
Like
those two
it's a
together and
part of
seeing that.
being, it's part of being a girl. Like I am
Hmm.
allowed to do, like, enjoy whatever, makes me happy, right? Like
Hmm.
if we, like, I always talk about it for people who do have issues with my makeup, and there's plenty. People are entitled to their own opinions. You are only entitled to listen to the opinions you want to listen to.
Hmm.
Hear that, ladies, okay? Like you
Yeah.
really truly do not have to listen to everyone's unspoken, right? Like their own opinion.
Yeah.
Like opinions are opinions, let them be. But to even the people that like want to talk to me about it and they feel some type of way about my makeup, I always ask them, I'm like, well, if someone likes to go walk 15 minutes down and back for their coffee for a pregame, like would you make fun of them for that? No.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's normal to you, right? Just because
Yeah.
maybe you don't seem normal or like have that type of involvement with makeup doesn't mean you should feel like, what I mean? And we put a little bit of that
Yeah.
perspective lens on, and then it makes things, the clarity of things kind of brighten up, kind of take the
Yeah.
opinions for who you want in your circle, and for the things that make you happy, do them.
Yeah. No, there's definitely used to be more of that in the world of just being you, be who you are unapologetically. And then that's when we all are at our best, right? We're all at our best when we're ourselves. And then the world gets blessed by the different people that are in it. When we're all trying to be the same
Absolutely.
person, you can't share what you have with the rest of the world. So I think it's doesn't do anybody any good to hide themselves for sure. All right. Can you share a little bit more? We chatted before we got on the call about volleyball and how your experience in volleyball helped you then face failure in softball. Could you share that with the girls because I didn't get to hear our
Yeah,
conversation?
absolutely. I think it was just, it's precious. Volleyball, it's a different type of mentality. How the game is played, the rules are played is a little bit different. And with that environment of the sport, when you make an error in volleyball, it feels like no biggie, no problem. Someone's bound to make an error, right? You have up to 25 points. Like it's literally best of 25, who gets there first. And when you're playing that mentality type of sport, making an error, you have to be really quick and just forget about it, right? In softball, we make one error and it feels like we just gave up the whole entire game. So I think really being able to transition the volleyball mentality skills of like, yes, I made an error. It's up to me to first recognize it, accept it, and then allow myself to see what I just need to do. What is the process for me to do what I want to do to excel at? And then I go and I do it, right? And even if I'm not mastering it after the first error, I'm at least going to allow myself to be vocal with my teammates so they can help me keep accountable, or they can see where they can help fill in some of the areas that I may need some help in, right? And that's okay to lean to your left and right. But when you go internal and nobody knows what's going on in that thought process of yours, things get a little confused, and things can oftentimes get situated in a way of like, oh my gosh, do you care or do you not care, right? And like we get in those
Mhm.
bubbles in our teams. But the more we can just remain being external and lean to our left and right, it's going to be a whole lot better.
I think it's funny too how we like create a false story around errors in softball. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
actually is a lot like volleyball. There's tons of plays in a softball game. Now you might only personally have three or four, right? Like you're only going to get maybe a few opportunities, but we tell ourselves that one error now has blown the whole game when in reality there's hundreds of more plays to be had
Yeah.
and we just got to get ready for the next one. And so I think
The
just
touches on the ball just feel more limited with softball,
they
right? A
do, they
little less
do.
controlled, right?
Yeah,
But
for
that's
sure.
always the fun part.
Yeah.
Volleyball, you can
All right.
literally just like no sweat,
Yeah.
get on to the
Yeah.
next, no biggie, right?
Yeah. And then you go into a sport like basketball where so you literally don't even have an opportunity to like acknowledge your mistake because you got to get back.
You got to go, like you got
So
to get back, like
yeah,
it's
yeah, you can't sit
literally
there and think about how you missed a
the
shot.
least of
Like,
your
yeah,
worries, right?
yeah. All right, Chloe.
How many injuries have you had between volleyball and softball, if any at all?
Between volleyball and softball, well, I've had a couple like minor, like I definitely tweaked my back a little bit sophomore year of high school. And that was from running a slide play, being middle blocker, as you can probably imagine. Running a slide is a very brutal thing once you get going from travel softball travel. Like I was year round and it was a lot. But other than that, I've been
A
pretty
slide
lucky.
is faking. A slide is faking like you're going to the middle blocker spot and then going around behind the setter and hitting out of the right
And
side
so you
spot.
gotta
That's what a
have a
slide
big
is. You
rotation.
big
Oh
torque,
my
big
gosh.
torque.
I would literally be flinging my body to the side. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Um, but I would probably say like I've been pretty blessed. I did break this finger my junior year in college a little bit. It was kind of funny. I was out for 9 games total. And then I came back that same season and I was playing and ESPN really loved to do a double take on my little finger cast as I'm swinging with the bat with it like off like this,
They're like
right?
zooming
Hey,
in.
I still hit a home run. I still made magic happen. Like a little finger implication wasn't holding me back. And other than that, I would say I did have a little bit of a hamstring strain at one moment in time. Please, please, please. It doesn't matter what you do, where you're at. Please hydrate. It was just literally me going to a football game. I had traveled up to Clemson for a football game, drove back. It's like a honest 8-hour drive if we're being legit from there back to Tallahassee, and I didn't hydrate enough and I had conditioning in the morning and well, the 8-hour car ride caught up to me. So at the end of the day, I really say most things are preventable into that space. Like, can you keep yourself in a really good headspace? Make sure you're taking care of your due diligence, right? We're not always like, gonna have the most blessed circumstances. Injuries may come or happen, but at some point, sometimes it's just there to give us a little bit more perspective of what we could be doing in other places other than being and playing and starting, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, we're running short on time. We really appreciate your time and you coming to talk to us. It's been really awesome to hear your perspective and all your stories. I have one final question that we ask all of our guests, and that is, if you could time travel, if you could go back in time to like younger you, so like when the age these girls are at, what would you tell yourself if you could go back in time?
if I could go back in time, I would truly tell myself, um, always be yourself. And I know that sounds like a super corny thing, and a lot of us often have our own implications or issues with self image or self confidence. And I think it's really funny. We hear oftentimes like the fake it till you make it. No, do it so you can be it. Okay.
Mhm.
I cannot emphasize that enough. Like the whole faking it till you make it. If you fake it, are you ever going to believe it? No, because you're giving yourself an illusion. It's fake, right? Then that way you
Mhm.
have like two separate boxes. The biggest way and the best way to be the best version of yourself, both on and off the field, to make sure you're not separating yourself with that illusion. So do it until you are it. That way,
Mhm.
like, when you mean like one day like, oh, I want to be confident, one day you're going to be able to go and look in the mirror and say like, no, I am confident. And there's gonna be the uncomfortable feelings that you go through, right? And that's a good thing. If it's uncomfortable, that just means you're doing something you're not used to. And if that is choosing confidence, then I would go through that uncomfortable feeling every single day.
But it is such good advice. Unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate that it's kind of treated as cheesy, but I think it is such good advice to just be yourself, be who you are. Well, thank you so much, Michaela. We really, really appreciate this. Um, check her out. Follow her on Instagram. You guys can, I'm sure she posts some of her pregame looks on there, and
Mm-hmm.
follow the AUSL series getting started here pretty soon.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of girls in Florida. Get out and go see her play, and we wish you the best season and continued health and all the best going forward this season.
Thank you.